Let's talk about perception, which I believe everything in life is funneled through a man or a woman's perception. Perception is so key to this life in so many different ways. But what was running through my mind right now as I was driving, it had to do with your perception of not seeing what you want to see in your life. Would you be able to still carry on with a good attitude and with a good, can you be joyful even if everything is not perfect the way that you wish it was? I want to leave you with that real quick. I don't want to move on from that so quickly because it's a question. I don't have everything I want. Don't have, you know, I have a picture in my mind about what I want everything to look like in my life. And that perception of what I want everything to look like, in contrast to reality, frustrates me. It produces frustration in my life. That frustration can produce bitterness if I'm not careful. If I don't tweak or address it. Take a crying child. If you want them to calm down, you have to kind of soothe them into that state of being in their mind. Take your mentality. Anytime you have frustration or anything like it from that family, you're going to have to address it and kind of smooth it out. Otherwise, you can fall into the temptation to feed it gasoline, and then you'll have a raging fire going on inside of you. This is self-control in a nutshell. We have to navigate these streets, get to know the scenery, get to know the symptoms, get to know the mentalities, strategize. What are the components to the solutions to these mountains? What kind of mentality should I appropriate in my mind right now that can diffuse this frustration, or that can bring me in alignment with, I may not have everything I want, or everything doesn't look the way I want it to look, but then to look at yourself. I don't know if you do this, but it's a good idea to hover over your thoughts, hover over yourself, and see what it is that you're thinking and doing and believing, and then logically working that out to see if it suits you, if it benefits you to believe that, or to think that, or to go in that direction. And so in a roundabout way, you know, there's a saying that says that we are our own best psychologist, that you hold the keys and the answers to life already inside of you, that you know what to do instinctively. It's like a deposit from God, but we got to get in tune with that. And then that's where you flood out the noise and you pay attention to what you believe is the remedy. So what I want to make this video about is, as I was thinking about what I was thinking about, I was thinking about what I was thinking about, and I said, does this benefit me to believe this? Not only that, but how can I change it, switch it, so that it can benefit me? And what would that look like? What would be the shape of the thought and the intention behind, so to slide into that, so it can be transformed. So what I mean by that is this, right? I'm going to give you an example so I can clarify to you what I'm talking about. I was having this mentality. This is how my morning started. I had this mentality of, I wish. Have you ever gone down the I wish list? I wish this, I wish that, I wish this, I wish that. Right? That in and of itself brings feelings. It brings, it makes you feel a certain type of way. Because it's almost like you're being denied or rejected. Because the I wish leaves you in like, it's almost like I want, but you're not getting it. And then as I was driving, I had that concept of, look at this. Look at what I'm thinking about right now. I am hovering over myself. I'm like, you may not have, this is what I told myself, things may not look the way that you want them to look, but you know God is at work. You know it. Like I feel God. Like he's on the job. But to go even deeper than that, I started to look at my life and say, Mike, like as a challenge. I said, Mike, like, what if your life never looks how you want it to look? What if it will never match up to what you want it to be? Can you still manage to have a positive outlook and be content and satisfied and make do with what you do have and who you are and what what you're surrounded with? Can you make lemonade out of lemons? Can you? And the answer is yes. And frustration leaves when you start to investigate and when you start to introduce different ideologies to the framework of what you're thinking about. And this is what I believe that the Bible talks about working out your salvation, what fear and trembling looks like. And I believe that the reason why people are in denial or blind is because they don't do this. So they live their life, and we have so many people in the world doing, like, living their life thinking that they are in the right. But they never take the time to evaluate themselves or question themselves or push back on their own beliefs. They never take the time because ego and pride tells them, no, I'm not wrong. Because they got one little concept, it's like a little token of offense. And that little offense tells them, I'm right because I'm acting this way because of this. And so because of that, they feel they don't have to look into the matter. Because that's a broad scope of looking at it. I'm right. And you're wrong for even questioning me. How dare you? And all I'm saying is this. You're living, that person, whoever that person is living in a traumatic state, engulfed in bitterness with all kinds of symptoms that are making them decay from within. And arthritis and all these different joint pains and all this, it literally stems from, you've heard of the saying that people can die from, it's not a saying, but people can die from stress. Like, so all of that produces that kind of, it's that clutter in your mind, it's that baggage on your shoulders, it's that weight, it's all of that. And so then, what I'm trying to convey is that we bring it upon ourselves through our own thought and our own philosophy of how we're looking at whatever the problem is. From the angle that we're looking at it from, we're accepting something as it is from the reality standpoint. And as long as we do that, we almost feel like we're stuck, like we have to accept it because it is what it is. That used to be one of my slogans. It is what it is. It is what it is. As if you can't shift it or change it or No, it is what it is. Now, yes, life will hand you stuff that looks like it's set in stone, but it's up to us to look at it from a different angle so that it can suit us or benefit us. And this is what champions do. Anybody that you look up to, I don't know if you look up to anybody, but if you see somebody on television or you admire somebody or anything like that, and you say, wow, what qualities that person holds. I wish I was more like that. More bold, more courageous, more aligned, whatever it may be. When you see an individual that you admire, those qualities took time to chisel. They didn't just appear overnight. We must go within, write things down, make sense out of it logically, journaling and all this stuff. We must do this. Through that process, you get insight, revelation, you get clarity, and then it leads you towards a place of light, a place where in this light there is life there, and in that life, because you're searching, you're making sense out of your life, there's life there. In doing that, you're getting to know yourself better, so that when you're facing an adversity or a problem or this or that, because of this little journey that you've started of getting to know yourself from within, etc., you're now in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way, questioning whether you're looking at this from the right light or not, and that's a good thing. Because that's how science got to where it's at. It questions stuff, and then it explores the horizons to see if another way is plausible or not. And then when it's proven this is the way, you've realized that in this thinking pattern, this leads to success. So you keep that, you grab that, you put it to the side, and you say, this right here leads to success. I'm gonna keep that. Have you guys ever seen the movie Inside Out? Those Golden Globes, right? It's like one of those treasured moments where you want to keep that. You don't want that to get lost, right? But there's other blue balls and all kinds of different balls within the movie that it's meaningless. A TikTok video is meaningless. Like garbage, it's meaningless. It's like you could chuck that because it's taking up real estate that is priceless. This is priceless. And when you've put a lot of golden balls, and let's put it like that, because the movie, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but for those that have, they'll understand, right? Those are those moments that matter. They're meaningful and they hold significance. And that's what life is about. It's about kind of compartmentalizing, as well as strategizing, as well as being organized and orderly, and looking at things from a strategic standpoint of, does this benefit me? What if I looked at it like this? Would that in a roundabout way feed me strength, or would it deplete me? Because you can be stuck, and a lot of people have been stuck. But what separates somebody that's stuck, like there's two people that are stuck, right? And one has hope and one doesn't have hope. One has given up and one has hope. It's how they're looking at it. Now, don't think that hopelessness didn't knock on the door of the person that has hope. It knocked on the door. It came in the way of a thought. But when they thought about it, they said, I don't want to feel hopeless, because then I'm going to be miserable. And in being miserable, well, how does that suit me or benefit me at all, or anybody else for that matter? How's my family going to benefit from me for being in that state? How can I be of use to anybody? So by choosing this thought of hopelessness, of it's always going to be this way and nothing's ever going to change, and this is the way it's going to be forever, by me downloading that thought and just accepting it, right? You're making like one of those core memories kind of thing, right? Like in the movie. But, and you're just accepting that. And now you're living. This is the point. That right there, it acts like a wedge between you and what you want. And it's there as long as you don't address it, it's gonna stay there. And things can stay in your mind and in your heart and in your life a lifetime. And it could have happened when you were 7 years old. And you could be living from a belief that you adopted many, many years ago. Like, for example, a very popular one is that if a girl gets raped or something like that, sorry for the word, but if she gets taken advantage of, then she can adopt a mentality. And that mentality usually looks a little bit like men can't be trusted, all men are dogs, and like something connected to that. And in looking at life from those lens and having that be the core engine of your personality, identity, and how you view humanity and society, and now you're living from those feelings that produces vileness, that stress, and all everything that could produce, right? My question is, does that benefit you, and does that benefit society and your family, etc.? And how else can you look at this to where it can benefit you and your family and society, etc.? So how can you look at this situation that did happen, accept it, but grow from it instead of it letting demolish you, because that doesn't benefit you. Because you have this one life. You have a time stamp of how many years and you're going to spend it miserable because something happened. God talks about forgiveness, and forgiveness being freedom for that person, and freedom like allowing that person not to represent or identify with what happened to them as an identity. And that's freeing, knowing that you let go of that. And that's what forgiveness in a nutshell is. You let go of that, and by letting go, you can move on. And then you can grab whatever core thought you want, that you want it to, that core thought is kind of the engine that drives you. Your personality, your identity, how you view life, view people, view yourself, etc. So that's how you treat people. That's how you treat yourself, because of those core thoughts, whatever it is. So what we got to do, and our responsibility, is figure out what we're believing on the inside. And that's how I started this video, is because I hovered over myself and I thought to myself, does this benefit you to believe that you can only be happy when you get everything you want and it looks identical to how you think it should look? Or can you let go of this control freak type of mentality, like, oh, you got to be in control and things got to be like this? Can you let go of that, and can you just kind of live life free of that and be content and happy without that? And the answer is yes, you can start working on it until you chisel away at that, and then you'll get there, period. Because it's going to get there when you work on it, not because spontaneously you woke up and everything just was done for you. And so that's, in a nutshell, that's how we work things out. We go within, we rationalize logically, like I said before. You instinctively, by God, already know what you need to do in your own life. to getting yourself over a hump, over a ditch, out of a pit, etc. You instinctively know what you got to do. And now it's just a matter of doing the step work. You're not going to climb the whole staircase in one step. That's usually where people go wrong. But step by step, day by day, you can. God bless you.